Andžejs. I'm going to give the floor now to you, who's going to be sharing more about his story, what he has learned from operating in the pharma beauty sector, and maybe there are some interesting questions and insights that can be shared. So yes, Andžejs.
So hi everyone, I'll try to be entertaining. I understand you guys got a challenging hour before, but when I agreed to Emil's unconsciously to give that presentation, I started to contemplate what actually is the value I can bring to you. And going through my life cycle of building this business, I found it quite interesting what value you will draw out of it. As if I were in investor shoes, I'd probably never invest in that company. But now, after some time elapsed, while I saw that potential, I see it still now. And today, I'll try to share what was the journey from where I was at that time when I started to do it and how it all landed today. And obviously, it wasn't much about profits. So which one Okay, good. And when I contemplated, actually, after our little call, I was driving home. I thought, okay, I don't have much time for that presentation, so I need to do it right now. I started to chat with GPT. I usually do that on my way home, and I started to reflect about what would best represent my journey. And apparently, I came to the conclusion that my journey is very much like Dunning-Kruger curve. And I assume you all know what it is, but just to recap, Dunning-Kruger were two scientists who identified relation between stupidity and confidence, being stating that the highest level of confidence is when you reach the highest level of stupidity, which they call peak of Mount Stupid, which is the first peak. And then the next, it goes down to Valley of Despair, when you start realizing that probably you're not as smart as you thought to be, and therefore your confidence drops along the way. And when you start gaining more experience, then you start gaining your confidence back, and then follows the slope of enlightenment, slope of enlightenment, and what is that? Plateau of sustainability, yeah, something like that. So basically, as you gain more as you gain more knowledge, you gain more confidence. As you gain more confidence, you get more back to what you can really state for. And yeah, suddenly it came to my mind, and I thought, okay, that's maybe a good idea. So I'll try to drag you through this journey. And back in 2000, I didn't have much knowledge about business whatsoever. Actually, I was in business since 1992 when we were trading petrol, trading gas. It was cash flow business. I was 18 years old at that time. Nobody knew what is P&L. Nobody knew what is cash flow. Nobody knew what is balance sheet. That was something very new to us. And that's probably why I'm not in this business. But there are some companies from that time who are still in this business. But around 1999, the business ended. Then we started to look around. We were three guys, so we started to look around what to do. And at that point, I just met some Estonian guys who were trading some plastic nails, who said, okay, this is a new trend. This is a new business. I took these nails, went to droghery, asked if you're going to sell it. They said, yeah, we're going to sell it. That's basically how the business started. There was no investment. There were two employees, me, myself, and somebody who I was paying a salary. I don't know what exactly I invested, but just for sake of some talking points, I doubt it was more than 20,000. I was trying to dig up something, but not much memories of that time. And basically, that was the first year we hit like 100,000 sales. And then the next big turning point in 2003, it's actually when I met an American guy who I was buying these nails from, and he decided to quit his company, make his own business. He had an idea of brand, and basically that idea was a brand name. That brand name was Kinetics. And he said, Andy, what if we do a brand? Oh, a brand! Sounds great. Okay, let's do it. And the next what follows is he sends over that shitload of different products which are not even properly packaged. He says, okay, this is my idea. Can you make out something of this garbage? And the value of that garbage was at best about 100,000. That's what we invest. That's what he invested. I didn't have money at that time. That's what he invested in this garbage, in packaging, in some products. He didn't have a clue what to do with that. I didn't have money. I got an idea what to do with that. I still had that confidence, already a little diminishing, but still got a confidence that we can do something with that. So basically what we started to do, we started to copy everything that we saw. We saw every single brand that was successful. My aim was to copy it, make it better, and sell. And at that time, we operated like typical private label customer. Many cosmetic companies still operate same way today. Like if you look at the nail polish, there are 4 manufacturers in nail polish which are less or more serious companies in Europe. They're selling to everyone starting from Chanel up to Turkish Rose. It doesn't matter. Nail polish is the best representation on what a smokescreen cosmetic industry is. As you're paying 25 euro for Chanel bottle and you're paying €3.50 at Watson's, Drogas, local Watson's group, for Turkish Rose bottle, and that's exactly the same formula. We didn't know it then, but basically a lot of companies operate like buying from large manufacturers, marketing it, branding it, and selling it out. And there are a lot of very successful companies doing that too. There's LatBAN companies hitting, 80 million in that way. But that's where we started in 2003. We're copying, we're labeling, we're filling. We didn't manufacture anything, we didn't produce anything, we're just selling. And that's where we hit our first, 850,000 in that year, and that felt like something. That felt like real business. If you ask me about bottom line, there was no bottom line. Basically, all the money made, we reinvested that. In 2008, we hit our first million in sales. And I tried again to recollect my feelings from 2000 when we started. And I think when we started, when I had 100,000, I thought, okay, when I hit million, that's where the life starts. That's it. The reality was down there because we got like 1 million in sales. We didn't have any profits. We didn't have much money. We're basically surviving on short cash flows, mostly on vendors' shoulders, and just trying to keep the flywheel spinning. This is what we're doing at that time. And that's about 8 years elapsed. What was good at this point, that we already learned the market, we learned industry, we knew what we need to do. And a good recap, if you'd ask me, if I had more money at that time, if I had an investor with 1 million, would I be able to make it more successful? I don't know. Because my journey was mostly that perseverance and grit, like just I need to do it, and I do it. So I think I'm probably not the most talented businessman, but one thing that I really do well, I can stick to something, I can do it for long hours, I can do it for a long time, I have a grit, and I just have a belief that if you do something properly for a long time, enough perseverance, then sooner or later you will succeed. Maybe older generation people will share that idea with me because at least that my parents taught me. Like if you do something hard enough, you'll succeed sooner or later. Anyway, it was 2008, it was 1 million. There wasn't much of profit. And of course, my partner at that time, this American guy, he started to get worried because already some time elapsed, no dividends, no money, And that guy in Latvia just keep saying, hey, we need to invest, we need to grow, we need to invest in the brand. Brand is nothing you can do in one day. And by 2015, we had quite a tense situation. Our visions didn't match. And when we started in 2003, we had a gentleman's agreement. And gentleman's agreement was like, Andy, you got 49, I got 51%. That's all it was. So there were no paperwork. There was one email I found later. We didn't even agree on what this 49-51 is. Is it shares? Is it cash? Is it dividends? Or is it anything else? And that's when I started to push that we need to do it something formally. We get basically in a limbo situation. He was the formal shareholder, and he owned the company. I was the only guy who knew how it works because he never did single day spending in the office or anything. But that's where we were. So he was shareholder, I was the actual doer. He came to Riga. He was a wise guy, credit to him. He said, Andy, what if you just buy this company? And then we agreed on 1 million, actually 1.1 million. He bargained cash to buy this company out. At that day, the company was 3 million company. Our EBITDA was about maybe 300,000. So, no, it was less. It was about, yeah, I checked it yesterday. It was something about 150 or 160, right. That's when I tried to calculate by today's view how many EBITDAs was it. So it was more than normal. But anyway, we agreed on payouts. I scraped all the money we had. I used some part of company's cash, some part of bank's loan, some part of my family's money. Altogether, okay, family was the smallest part. Family was 150K. Bank was about 600. That was the max we could take at that point. And our own cash at that point was 400,000. So that's where I bought out the company. And of course, I was shit scared about what follows next. Technically, I knew that I was the one doing it. But by that point, I always had somebody I could call, at least complain or say why things are not right and so on. Now I was on my own. Fast forward, by 2021, we built this company to 10 millions. How we built it? We opened a lab in 2010. This is where we started to create our products. In 2015, we already had some real skills, some real science behind it. And by 2021, we're one of 3 jaw polish, that's a specific product category in this business, one of 3 jaw polish factories in Europe. And our ambition is to become the largest manufacturer in Europe. The market is very small. To give you a recap, the overall market in Europe is probably 1 billion. Maybe less, nobody counts it, but just a rough estimate. So from 1 billion, about half is owned by China. And then the rest of 500 million is split between 2 American companies and 3 European companies. And we're still the smallest one there. So the potential is there. We just need to find a way how to get there. But basically 2021, only when we hit 10 million, was first time when we ended with a reasonable profit. So my first dividends I draw a couple of years later. So all this journey from 2003 to 2021 was my experience, was my perseverance, was investing my time, all the money in the company, and that's where we arrived 3 years ago. So right now I have slightly better perspective. I think I'm on a slope of enlightenment. So I see how I can drag this company to 20 millions by 2030. And the next mark would be 50 million company, but I'll think about 50 millions when we hit 20. That's long story short. I hope it was not too boring. If you've got any questions, happy to elaborate. If not, a nice round of applause, and I'm leaving the stage.
No, you stay.
I say, okay.
Questions.
Okay, let's go.
Yes.
Yeah.
One simple question. If you would have a chance to change something, let's say 5 years ago, 10 years ago, just one point in all the journey, what would you do differently?
I wouldn't pay $1 million for the company. I would probably sign a shareholders agreement when we decided to establish it. That's a simple thing. But overall, what we did, I think knowledge-wise, not so easy to do it much faster because we're a very knowledge-deep industry. Basically, we're working in the UV coating industry. As I said, in Europe, there are just a handful of companies having this knowledge. There's just one university in Austria, in Graz, who are teaching this knowledge, and are all self-taught. So all the chemists, all the experts working in our company, they're coming, they're learning, and they're growing with the company. So not much okay, in the small things, there are many things that I could have done differently. I could just become a better person, more focused on business in 2008 when we're copying everything and just clapping our hands about nice designs and not looking at the sales numbers. But this is a typical journey where most of cosmetic and maybe other industries go through, like the first excitement about product created, being confident that this is the best product in the world, never looking at numbers, never looking for feedbacks. That would be one thing I would change in reality. Thank you for the question.
Albert?
So I was wondering if you take all this knowledge and grit that you built over 20 years, and you would say, to like, put into one thing, what would be like the biggest mistake you made, and what was the best decision that you made?
Yeah. Start with the best decision. The best decision was in 2010 when we decided not to follow the buy and sell approach as a private label company, just labeling our jars, but really invest in manufacturing. Again, that decision in 2010 when we decided to develop this formula, I spoke to some of the world top experts who have created it. And I asked it if it's even possible to create it because it's technically very, very complicated formula. They said, yes, I'll help you. So we paid like €500 an hour for consulting. He tried to taught us, and our initial budget was 300,000 investment in that formula and maybe 6 months of creating. The reality was 3 million investment in about 3 years. Still, it is the best decision, because creating that formula is a real moat, is a real barrier for anybody else to enter this business. This is why right now we're selling not just under our brand, but we're selling to about 40 our direct competitors who are buying product from us, filling in their bottles, or we're filling for them, and then they're selling in an open market. At some occasions, even same distributors who are distributing our branded product, they're also selling our direct competitor, which is actually our product. But that took a while, yeah.
In production in Latvia?
Yeah, everything is Latvia-based. We're now building a nice factory in Andžejs. On the left-hand side where Orkla is, if you pass by, that's the building. Yeah, now you can already see structure. And in September, it's a cutoff date, and we hope to start operations by November.
And how big the team right now?
The team is 120 people, where 40 are workers and about 90 is administration sales. We're developing 3 different companies. That's why headcount is still probably too much. Maybe, that's what I contemplated yesterday when putting together the presentation. Maybe this is my trait and my problem, that I always like to invest money more into development, invest more in people, and not to be so careful about bottom line. But by years, I've become better on this.
You had a question?
Yeah, I have a question. I assume nail polish is quite
low growth products because well, we have only 10 fingers. So.
That's right. Yeah.
So when you said that you want to grow to 20 million and then to 50 million, how do you grow so much if obviously we have to take away the market share from somebody else?
That's exactly how we do. We take
how
away.
do you do? Because if there are, like you said, 2 plus 3, 5 competitors or 4 more competitors,
Yeah.
well, there is not much to take
They're
away
legacy
from them.
players, probably.
They are legacy players. So one company is owned by an American guy who is about to retire. He's got his 20 Ferraris in his garage, literally, and he has enough. So they're not really investing in development. We're investing between 5 and 6% from annual turnover in R&D specifically, year by year. So already today, our product quality is much superior to legacy US players and also European players. Our most and fiercest competitor are Chinese companies who are coming out with good products, but these products are not compliant. Right now, nobody cares about compliance. So they print on labels whatever they want, and they put in the product whatever they want, and it never match. But sooner or later, we feel this trend that businesses, they're getting more concerned about their product compliance. And this is where our sweet spot is. We're Europeans, we're accessible, we speak the language they understand, we make very clean products, and we make some of the best products in the market. And that's not my words, that's reality. So just the last 2 months, we got like 2 American influencers, top influencers in the world. In blind tests, out of 10 products, our product came first in 2 occasions, in unrelated. So I believe that the knowledge we have put over these, since 2010, over these 16 years, in a team, the knowledge and the way how we create products, it's got a potential. And rounding up your question, so if there is a 500 million market, hey guys, we only need 10% of that. Not much.
You mentioned about this influencers, etc. I want to understand how do you approach it? Because I mean, essentially, I mean, if a certain person in the public view uses your product, it can change the company overnight. No, like I know.
That's right. So we're not there yet. Okay, we have our product being on Naomi Campbell's nails and Dua Lipa nails and a lot of celebrities. But one thing is nail technicians putting our product on their nails. Another thing is to get tagged in Vogue or any of these magazines. The price tag is about 100,000 for that. I'm not ready to take that risk, so we'll probably go step by step. I'm very conservative.
Have you ever considered attracting private equity investment or doing some trade sales to fuel your growth?
It was once in 2015 when I needed to buy out the company. Then I went to some guys who I knew who are in this private equity. They looked at the company and they decided not to invest. And today, I would say that was the best decision because we're able to put together money from bank, which was less expensive. It didn't put any burden on my shoulders. I was able to act freely. And then over the period of course, when you got a bottom line 1 million with 10 million sales, you got a lot of calls from equity investors. That's what I saw, at least in our case. So then I got a lot of emails, a lot of calls. But honestly, if I had 3 million or 5 million free cash now, I don't have a very sustainable business model to say that I can tenfold the sales. If I had this model, I would consider that money. But for the growth of 15 to 20% a year, I can fund it from our proceeds, from our bottom line, from our earnings. So technically, I don't need an investor right now, unless I know what to do with that money. But I don't know what to do with that money to tenfold.
Maybe you should take over this company with 20 Ferraris.
That's a good idea. We're looking at similar companies in Europe. Every joke has a part of joke. So we are looking at companies in Europe, specifically with the geopolitical situation too. I don't think we're ready yet. One company was sold 3 years ago, but that was sold by tenfold of EBITDA, was quite expensive. Swiss guys bought it, very similar, and they are right now going down. So I've seen actually 2 big nail companies sold in Europe. Both are 30 to 40 million companies. They are brands. We manufacture for both of them. And they're both running with loss for last 3 years. One of the companies has, in 4 years, 4 CEOs. They're all people from bank industries or from finance. They got no clue how to run cosmetic industry. I don't think they'll ever steer out of this. And they're desperately trying to sell the company. But right now, for 30 million company, maybe I'm not ready for that. We don't have that much money in our pockets. I don't think if I want to take that risk. And I'm not even sure if anybody can steer a company out. But I can see a good synergy while we're producing for them. So we're their supplier. We can become their major supplier. Maybe one day, one of these companies could become a part of Kinetics Group. This is an appealing strategy of growth. I was just recently, in March, I met one of the largest European packaging suppliers. They were 8 million company 25 years ago. Now they're 45 million company. They mostly grew through acquisitions. So this sounds something that I probably could and should learn. Not there yet. But thanks for a question. Yeah. Art?
Yeah. A question about ESG and EU's all kind of regulations, potential and existing. How does it affect your competitive position against Chinese?
Right. A good question. If your question, let me paraphrase it. If your question sounds like, would your wife pay 50 cents more for bio product? I'm not sure about your wife, but 99% of nail technicians would not. That's the reality. Following the trend, we came out with biodegradable gel polish. There are such materials. Then we went to some of the top European scientists just to have a chat and a beer, and we asked them, guys, what is your take on that? Because they're also formulating those materials. They are creating, synthesizing, and selling those materials. And they said, okay, there is one driving force behind coatings with biodegradable nature, and this is IKEA. And that's the only driving force in the market. Nobody else is concerned about having biodegradable coatings. So in reality, no. On a check mark, in Delphi, sounds good.
How does it feel to be in the business which is not threatened by AI at all, seemingly?
That's a good point. I think our race is, and I've always been a bit of technology geek. My first job was coding when I was 14 years old. So I'm in a state of fear of missing out, right? That's what it's called. So we're trying to see how we can get our company up to the tools, efficiency, and that's our concern. That you say rightfully, I can't see much of this work or much of this product being threatened by AI. But obviously, I think to win the game and to win it with a big margin, we need to be very efficient, and that's what is my concern. So how do I get my company up to the level?
I saw in one interview, I was researching you deeply with AI.
Thank you.
There was one quote in your interview, I don't know if you have a comment on it or not. You said that your business can... You said that even a colorblind person could run your business.
Yeah, because it's not about color, and it goes back to my personality. I think it doesn't matter, was it nails or sewage pipes or something else. It's just what eventually would get in my hands back then in 2000, probably I would just dig deep and dig until I can integrate it, a full chain. We are the most vertically integrated companies in the world in this industry. You would ask me why we're not 100 million company. I don't know yet, so I need to figure that out. But there are no other companies like Kinetics, which is having a brand, having a manufacturing, selling our own products or direct competitors, and now we went 2 levels deeper, so we not just started to manufacture our own colors, we started to manufacture our own pigments this year. And this is about maybe my geekiness. I always like to dig deeper and see, okay, what else we can take out of our vendors' hands and what we can do ourselves.
What's your market percentage in Latvia?
In Latvia, we're 35, which is near to max. We're still growing at 9% per year, and I wonder how. In Lithuania, we're 20, but in Europe, in our best countries, we're anywhere between 3 and maybe 7. So still a good potential also in branded product. And we just launched last year our print-on-demand solution, which is gel polish for micro brands, like 100, 200 euro investment, create your own gel polish, get on the internet and sell it. And that one also was not so bad. We hit 400,000 mark last year, which was a second year. So I hope in 1-2 years we'll probably hit million. And then our best surprise is actually United States. We never sold in United States, and we started in November just by our own brand, just one direction. We have like 3 divisions, our own brand. We started to sell in United States, and in 6 months it sells the whole amount of our global website. So the last month was 70,000 euro, and we didn't invest much. We just found the right person and put product in the market. So we'll see where it goes.
Yes, Harshu?
Do you think influencer marketing is as same as a growth hack for your company, because it's one of the safest and the fastest growing market right now, and you're allocating budget there? So
we're spending monies in influencer marketing. We see how it drives sales. Again, I think there are 2 types, 2 hats you can wear. You can be a marketing person, you can be a research and development person. By my nature, I'm a development person, so it's harder for me to be a marketing person. Although we are investing money in marketing, and we see how sales grow, specifically driven by our influencers in the United States. But yeah, maybe whoever asked about the mistake, if we would have a better focus on marketing 5 years ago, maybe we could sell more. Not maybe, I think certainly we could. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.